So guys, there has been a lot floating around on the new Model Y, enough for us to all know that now is not the right time to buy unless you really need a car at this very moment. But even then no one really needs a Tesla right away. You can walk, you can take transit, you can buy an older car, anything you can do to get by for the next couple of months. Now I know for sure there is going to be a handful of you in the comments saying that never is there a better time to buy than right now with the low APR and the federal tax credit. But first of all, keep in mind that not everyone lives in the US and not everyone qualifies for this federal grant. And as you know by now, with this channel, I try to keep all of our best interests in mind, trying to get us the best value for our money. So right now, I would say that this is not the best time to buy if you are in the market for an electric SUV. So when it comes down to it, practically anyone living outside of North America, there is no incentive to buy a car now rather than waiting a few months down the line and getting a brand new redesigned Model Y. Then of course, there are those of us that live in the US and Canada where the government is here assisting us with all of these great federal grants. These are not going to be the ones that you want because there is a high possibility you are going to be getting a brand new Model Y completely redesigned as well as qualifying for each and every one of these as well. Now Tesla and the government has shown us time and time again that they are willing to work around the needs of EVs, working to transition over to a more sustainable environment. This means that the low APR and the federal tax incentives are going to continue coming up as Teslas and other EVs are coming out. You are not going to be missing out on anything, and with the removal of any incentives, this is just going to slow down the progress of the EV transition. So yeah, take it however you like, but we have already seen this with the Model Y, the S, the X, and now even the Model 3 Highland. Tesla has recently adjusted the APR down to 1.99%. This is something they haven't offered when the vehicle was announced, and now they are bringing it back. And then simply for those of you guys that are on the side of buying a car now rather than waiting a few more months, ask yourself, would you pick up an iPhone 15 now at this price knowing that the 16 is just a month away? Alright, so this is quite a different start from my usual videos. I typically save my thoughts and opinion to the very end, but at this point here, I really needed to get through. A lot of you guys that are in the market of a Model Y and you want the very best but worried about the APR and worried about the federal incentive going away, I don't think you really need to worry about that because I am in the same boat right now and I am definitely waiting for the Model Y Juniper. Alright, now before we get into the good stuff, let's talk about the Model Y and what we have found in the last couple of weeks and what we know thus far. Ever since the Model 3 was released, Tesla has done everything possible to avoid the Osborne effect, relying on some minor upgrades to keep sales going through. The Model Y has gone through various changes in the past couple of months, keeping it extremely competitive with other brands in China. They have made some impressive upgrades to those vehicles, bringing ambient lighting, better battery, and exclusive mapping software. If you want to know more about that and what you may be missing in your Model Ys, go check out my previous video. I'll drop some in the description and up top there. And leading up to today, we saw quite a bit of leaks and spy shots that would indicate that Tesla is ahead of the game with testing and production. We first started off seeing the interior console being built at the production line at Giga Shanghai. This gave us a glimpse of the newer interior and how it would look standing out next to the Model 3. Highlighting the most obvious component, we see that there is now a new silver accent trim on the outline of the charging pad, and if you compare this next to the older Model Y as we see here, it looks a lot more in line with the rest of the silver console accents. Now moving a few weeks forward, we started seeing spy shots of the new Model Y driving around the streets of California. It was covered up at the front and rear just as how it was for the Model 3 in what practically looks like the same black material that was used for all the prototype vehicles. What's further interesting about this is if we zoom closer and turn up the exposure, we got to see the first glimpse of the much anticipated front bumper camera. Then moving forward 2 weeks, we got to see another spy shot of a Model Y just outside of Giga Berlin, but this one was completely covered up in bright yellow and pink wrap, likely to hide all the newer components of this car. Now, what we also found out during this testing period is there likely will see some sort of suspension and steering rack upgrade, as this car's turning radius is extremely tighter and much more precise. And then finally, the most recent leak that we have just seen, and this one is to top it all up and the highlight of it all. An internal staff who has likely been let go as of now gave us the entire scoop of what we can expect out of this car. Not only did he share photos directly from the passenger seat showing off the interior with the lighting strips, but he also went above and beyond, lifting up the covers of the exterior, giving us our first preview of the new light bar design. Now, unfortunately for him, he sort of sold himself out. He forgot about the reflection in the car's paint, showing him his entire face. I feel kind of bad, but we will always remember him in our hearts. So if all of these leaks and prototypes serve us well, we can kind of get an idea of what the upcoming model prototype is going to be like. The Model Y is going to be taking a huge departure from what we see in the current design now. A user on Twitter that goes by Dominic Brinkman has been creating a ton of Model Y renders that look extremely good. If you guys want to check him out, I will drop his handle somewhere at the bottom here. You guys can check him out over there and see all his latest designs. But he has been updating it regularly and it has been getting better and better, and I know for sure as details come out, this is going to get closer and closer to what the final design is going to look like. Now on to the latest scoop of what we just seen this week of the Model Y. This is a car that was just recently spotted in China. Just outside of Giga Shanghai, images have surfaced of the newly redesigned Model Y completely covered up with camouflage wrap, leaving no areas uncovered except for the windows. This is also a great departure from what we have seen previously with other prototypes and a good indicator that they are well ahead of the game in terms of final design and production. Briefly scanning at these images here, it looks like they are testing it on public road and still using the 20-inch induction wheels. These will likely be upgraded to something much better once we get closer to mass production. Now the overall looks and dimensions of the car hasn't changed all that much. Things look as similar as the current model, but it could just mean that they are keeping the same form factor and changing the smaller exterior details just like the Model 3. So this means the front headlights and the rear tail lights, with this year having the light bar design as well. However, at this point we can still see that they are using the old taillight design with the line break in the middle, so Tesla likely hasn't added the new specific taillight just yet. Although we can expect this change to finally happen during the mass production stages and somewhere down the line in the next couple of weeks. So all in all, compiling everything that we have so far, there is a very high likelihood that we are going to be seeing the Model Y Juniper being announced in Europe and China first. Now I know a lot of you guys are going to point out that this is likely just the current design, the car that is currently available right now that nobody really cares about. But there is no point of Tesla completely camouflaging and wrapping the entire car up if this is just something old. There is a big likelihood that underneath all this wrap is the new Model Y Juniper. Whatever we think and whatever we believe, this late stage in the game, we are pretty much guaranteed that whatever is underneath that camouflage wrap is likely going to be a design that is going to be making its way into the Model Y Juniper, and this is likely going to be the overall form factor that you are going to see in the refresh version. Now, as I have started this video recommending you guys to hold off, I just want to clarify that if you are in need of an SUV, an electric car right now, of course, there is still the really low APR and you also have the federal incentive. But for those of you guys living outside of the US and Canada, you are going to be better off just holding off a little bit longer, because in the next couple of months and at the latest early 2025, you are going to be seeing a car at the exact same price but so much better. Of course, then there are those of you guys that live in China, and if somehow you are watching this video, you are probably picking up a Model Y as we speak because of the 0% APR as well as all the upgraded components that we don't have anywhere else in the world, ambient lighting, the new software and specific designs. this is something that may incentivize us to buy right now, but even then so, I think it's still better off to wait for the Juniper. All of this is just really my opinion and my personal thoughts. I am definitely waiting for the Juniper. My wife is waiting for the Juniper and waiting for something new to happen to the Model Y. So if you are in the position like me and waiting for a Model Y, it's better off to be patient and getting something much better in a short amount of time rather than dropping a big amount of cash right now for something that has been designed about 6 years back. Anyways, this should be it for this quick little update. I know there's going to be a ton more coming out in the next couple of days, so definitely stick around because I will be keeping you guys as updated as possible on anything that comes up regarding the Model Y, the Model 3, or practically anything in the Tesla realm. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, that bell notification, and follow me on Twitter at HeyJohnE. Over there, you guys can chat with me anytime and I will respond as quickly as possible. This should be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is John. Once again, peace out.